Once again, I welcome you back into today's class, which we're going to learn how to create a vulnerability scanning lab. So how can we create a vulnerability scanning? How can we create a lab for vulnerability scanning? So maybe you want to scan a network for vulnerability. How can you create a lab for it? The first thing is that you need to have your VirtualBox. You must download either you're using VirtualBox, you are using VMware. But in this class today, we're going to know how to create a lab using VirtualBox. So the first thing we're going to do now is that we're going to create our lab. We all have the VirtualBox on our network. And if you don't have a VirtualBox, I'm going to leave a URL you can download your VirtualBox. So the next thing you want to do now is that how can we create our vulnerability lab? So maybe you want to scan for weaknesses on the network. So how can you create a lab in order to discover a weaknesses on the network? So here I'm with my VirtualBox, and we're going to be using a vulnerability tools. The name of the vulnerability tools we'll be using here is a Greenbone, which is made by OpenVAS network. So how can we install our Greenbone? First thing is that you need to come to import appliances, and you're going to navigate wherever you have that particular Greenbone on your system. So I have this Greenbone on my desktop. So you're going to choose on Greenbone and you click open. So once you click open, you hold on for some seconds until you see next. You click on next and you click on finish. So hold on, click on import, drag to wherever you have the Greenbone on your system. I have my Greenbone on desktop, and you click on open, click on next. So this guy is going to bring out the Greenbone for you. So you click on finish. Once you click on finish, you will hold on for the Greenbone to finish importing. So the other tool that we'll be making use inside this lab is a OWASP. OWASP is a open web application that consists of many vulnerability websites. So that guy here is made for education purpose. Anytime you want to scan a system for a vulnerability, we can make use of a OWASP, and we can scan the OWASP to discover a weaknesses on it. So how can we install the OWASP? Come here once again, right click, go to import, choose the directory where you have your OWASP. I have it on desktop. Here is my OWASP, which is a broken web application. Click on open. Once again, you hold on for it to bring next. Once you see next, click next. Once you click next, you click next again and finish. So you're going to wait for the two guys to come up. So you wait for the two guys to come up. So we're going to hold on for them to come up. While they are coming up, the next thing we need to do is to come to the settings of this Greenbone network. Come to settings, come to network, and make sure that your Greenbone was on bridge adapter. Make sure your Greenbone was on bridge adapter. And once again, go to the system. This Greenbone is assigned 5 gig automatically. So I can actually reduce it. I can reduce it to 4 gig. I can reduce this to 4 gig because my system is having 8 gig of RAM here. So I can reduce this guy to 4 gig, and you click and OK. So goes to the OWASP, do the same thing. OWASP setting goes to the network. This OWASP here was on NAT. I must change this from NAT to bridge adapter so that the OAuths and the Greenbone will be able to communicate. So let me go to system. This OAuth was assigned 1 gig by default, which is a OK. So I need to click on OK. So the next thing we'll be doing now is that I will go ahead and power on this machine on. I will go ahead and power on this particular machine on, and we're going to test the connection between the two machines. So we're going to wait some seconds for the machines to come up. So we're going to wait for the machines to come up. So this green bone here is a vulnerability scanner. So this green bone here is the tools that we are using to scan for vulnerability. This VM here, which is the OAuths, we are using this OAuths here as a client that we want to scan and discover vulnerability on. So we'll be using this green bone to scan this OAuths to discover a vulnerability on it. So that's what we want to do. But here in this class, we'll be focusing on how to install and creating all those labs. So I power on the green bone, we need to hold on for the green bone to come up. So once power on the green bone, do the same thing for the OAuth. Power on the OAuth as well. So we're going to power on the OAuth as well. All right. So once we are inside this green bone here, this green bone here shows us an IP address, and secondly, is asking us to log in. By default, the username of this green bone is admin. The username is admin and the password is admin. Anytime you are putting the password is not going to appear, but make sure that you are putting the right password. Put the username of admin, the password of admin, you will be inside the green bone. So why are we logging inside this green bone? Is that we need to create our own username and password, so that anytime we want to access this green bone on the web, we will be using that information to log in. So here we're going to click on yes, and we're going to click on yes. Here now asking us to create our username and password. So I'm going to create my username as a Sami. So here we are not going to be making use of our mouse anymore. Everything we'll be doing here, we'll be using our down and up arrow. So I'll be using my down arrow to go to the password, and I'll be using the password of Sami, go to the third password, and I'll be using the password as a Sami. So here, you won't be using your mouse here. First thing is that it's asking us to create a username, and I name my username as Sami, the password, and use the down key to confirm your password. So after that, you will click on OK. You hit enter key to click on OK. You hold off for some seconds until you see user created. So let's head to that OAuth. Once you are in the OAuth is going to tell you that the username is a root and the password is a OAuth PWA. So we're going to log into the OAuth. The username of the OAuth is a root and the password is a OAuth PWA, and hit enter key. So you will be inside that particular OAuth. So what do you want to do here? The first thing is to check the IP address of this OAuth by using ifconfig. And this OAuth is going to tell you this is the IP address 172.20.10.3. So once we get this IP address, we need to hold on. So let's go back to our green bone. Once you see user created on the green bone, we are good to go. Hit enter key. So once we hit enter key, you still need to hold. So here, once you see this, once you click on user creator, you hit enter key, it's going to take you to this place. So the next thing we'll do here is just to click and skip. Skip. You need to skip that options and hold on for this guy to do a self check. So we're going to hold on for some seconds. This guy will be running self check. So we're going to wait for some seconds while this guy is running self check. Okay. So the next thing we'll click OK here. You're going to click OK here and you click on logout. You click yes. So once you click logout and you click yes, you're going to see that this guy is going to show you your IP. He is telling you that this is your IP 172.20.10.2. So what we're going to do is that we're going to ping that IP from OAuth. We're going to ping the green bone 172.20.10.2. As you can see, once we are bringing the green bone, we are getting reply. This is telling us that this green bone and OAuth, they are able to talk to themselves. So we are good to go to carry out our vulnerability scanning. But if you leave this pinging like this, it's going to be going from now for till forever. So you need to stop this particular ping by using Control Z. Control Z is going to stop it. So this is how you can create your vulnerability lab. Here now, this green bone here is a client, is a victim that you want to scan. I mean OAuth. This OAuth here is a client that we are scanning, and this green bone here is the tool that we are using to carry out the scan. So we'll be using this green bone to scan these OAuths and discover some weaknesses on it. Like what I explained to you, this OAuth here is a broken web application that consists so many websites on it. For example, if I go to my browser and I put the IP address of the OAuth 172.20.10.3 and hit enter key, you're going to see that we are inside that particular OAuth. Here is a lot of the websites hosted inside this OAuth. So we want to scan this particular OAuth and discover a weaknesses on it. You can actually browse to any of the websites. You can browse to any of the websites and you will be inside that particular website. So this guy is hosted a lot of websites on it. So what we want to do here is that we want to use that particular green bone. This guy will ask you for password. You can log in using that particular password we are using for that particular OAuth. So you'll be inside that particular website. So here is a website. Here is one of the websites hosted on the OAuth. So this OAuth here, we have a lot of websites hosted on it. So what we now want to do here is that we want to be using this particular guy here. Sorry. Yes, you want to use this green bone here to scan for this OAuth and discover vulnerability on it. So this is what we're going to be doing in our next class. So this is where we're going to stop today. So I hope you guys understand how we create that lab. Once we open our VirtualBox and we'll import our green bone and we import our OAuth. This green bone is a scanner, and OWASP is a victim that we are scanning to check some weaknesses on. So this is where we're going to stop today. Thank you guys for watching. Bye for now.